Dr. Kean Nunes for his session, which would include a roundtable on the legal issues related to the genocide. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to begin by thanking the team who put this together. They speak to the fact that democracy is alive and well at Kean University by virtue of the support of the president and the entire university, and the way in which this wonderful group were able to work in the vineyards for this particular program. And I find that quite exceptional from the perspective of having been a student on 3 continents, this being my 3rd continent. Having said that, we have, as you will notice from the program, we have two tasks. We want to look at the cry for justice, and we also want to look at memorialization, the continuation of the memory of the people who suffered, in order to pay tribute to their lives, so that their lives were not in vain. So what I'd like to do is to take the last first, and then to go to the more difficult issue, because the issue of justice is an issue which involves many complex and many sensitive issues. So with that, I want to turn to our leader from the Bangladesh War Museum, and I want to ask him a question which is on my mind, and that is a question about his museum, and it's about the actual places where Bengalis gave up their lives for human rights. So my question then is, what's the benefit? What advantage do you see, particularly for students, the people who want to carry on our memories and our traditions? What benefit do you see them in going to a museum which is not an actual place of suffering, is not an actual place where anyone is deprived of their human rights? As an educator, I think that there are benefits, but they're not apparent, and I really want to come to grips with that in terms of your experience and the work which you do.
Thank you, Keith Nunes. The issue is very interesting, that we have a museum which is not an actual site, but which collects articles, memorabilia from different persons, different areas, and put them on display. And a person or a young visitor, a student, go through that. And then we have a memorial site, which is the real place, the actual site where people were killed and butchered. And how we can make the site speak about history, or how it can be related with the visitor in a more effective way. I think this is a challenge for every museum and every site. And for an actual site, it has many advantages, that this is the actual place where real things happened, and it can speak a lot in a more forceful way. But I think at the core is that how you interpret it, how you look at it, and how you work to connect it with the person who has no experience of the past or no experience of the ordeal and the suffering that people went into the actual site. So even if you have an actual site, you can have a situation where the communication is not that strong, or even in an unreal place, or maybe in a museum with real artifacts, you can have a very effective communication. So I think it depends on how you look into it, how you interpret it, and what is the innovative and creative way to address this issue. And there is no easy solution, and it depends on the particularity of the site, or the particularity of the history, and also the community or the new generation that comes up and that went for a visit into the site, which may be a short visit, which may be part of a larger program, but how the site can really speak its story. when Dr. Hassan was presenting about the different mass graves and killing fields, he mentioned about Boruitala killing field, where more than 400 people were massacred in one day, in one incident. And this is an area in Kishoreganj, just outside the Kishoreganj town, and I had been to that site and heard the story from the villagers. Actually, when you go to the site, you will find many people who are roaming around, or maybe they are sitting in the tea shop, and if you start conversation with them, they will all come up with a story. And when I first visited the site, I think it was about 10, 12 years ago, it is at a bend of a road where there is a railway crossing, and you have to slow down your vehicle or whatever method you are using, and in the corner you have the Boruitala killing field. And there was nothing actually, there was no memorial, nothing, but one simple cement and brick